Now, we get to blow stuff up in the Navy. So by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm back on the mic. So let's give a hand over to Justin, who helped fix the mic during the workshop. So we have to blow stuff up. And in the movie, the torpedoes kind of run out, and they go straight, and they hit the side of the ship, and they blow a hole. That's not how it works. First of all, the torpedo runs out and has a wire that pays out and connects it, keeps it connected to the submarine. And it's telling us what it's seeing. And we can steer it. So we can chase, you can say turn left, turn right, that kind of stuff. Then it never hits the ship. It goes under the ship and explodes, and we blow a hole in the ocean that the ship then falls into and breaks in half. That's how you sink a ship. One shot, one kill. And that's what the Chinese Navy will look like if they mess with us. Not bragging, just saying. Here we are, we're loading a torpedo. The ship's in Sasebo, Japan. We practice, we call this forward loading. So we imagine, hey, we emptied our torpedo room on the whatever bad guy Navy, and now we need more torpedoes, so we're practicing loading a torpedo in Sasebo, Japan. But we're actually loading a torpedo. We practice by actually doing it, and that's the green thing. Of course, you recognize it because you're sleeping across from one. The objective here is not to drop it. And, yeah, hard hats, yeah, they ain't gonna help you. And I gave too much control. I screwed this up. I was all about, okay, you guys just tell me, and I gave too much control. The team made a bad decision. We were doing a dry run, and we dropped this big metal thing and made a thump. I came running out of my stateroom. It was very scary. Stop everything. What happened? We had this abnormal lineup that the team didn't fully understand, and made a bad decision, bad blue work, and we dropped the cradle. Fortunately, no torpedo was in it, and I had to tell the captain of the tender and send a mishap message to the whole Navy. Very embarrassing. And this was about 6 months into our whole journey. Now, at this point, things were going really, really well. And by this point, every sailor who had the opportunity, which is like about 3 a month, every sailor who had the opportunity to re-enlist in the Navy did. So we were at 100% at this point. And a lot of things were going well for us, but this really scared me. And I was like, oh, now I know why we just run around and micromanage people and tell you what to do. It's because you guys, we tried empowerment, you guys screwed it up. We're done. We got together, and the guy said, you know what? We let you down, but we like what's going on here. It feels better, and we're seeing the results. And so we came up with this model where it's about how much control do we give, or empowerment. It's got to be tuned to the technical competence and the clarity of the team. You can't just give empowerment unanchored to any input variables. And if you want to be a management consultant, then the trick is you create a really complicated model, and then people hire you to explain it. So this was my attempt at the complicated model. And I had basically done what the red line shows. I had just given my team a lot more authority, but we hadn't done the work of building their confidence and their clarity, and I really wasn't paying enough attention to what it was. Because you don't want to go that way, you want to go this way. And I said, okay, I think you're right. I think we did too much. Let's back off a little bit. And in these intent conversations, you're going to say why you want to do it. That's the clarity and why it's technically safe. That's the competence piece, and I'm going to be listening to those conversations. We had really great news because right about that time, Stephen Covey came to ride the submarine, and he had heard what was going on because we were starting setting all these records. The other thing that happened was the Navy came to do various inspections, and the crew of the Santa Fe got the highest score in the history of the Navy for operating the submarine. And no one could figure that out. Like, how'd that happen? People would call me and say, oh, hey, congratulations. That was my peers. And they said, congratulations, you must have been giving some really good orders. And I was like, oh, no, here, let me tell you, I actually stopped giving orders. What? And Dr. Covey, and I was a huge fan. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Read it if you haven't. I came out to the ship. He spent all day with us. We picked him up on the Hine. I brought him over to Pearl Harbor. And as we're coming into Pearl Harbor, we're standing on the bridge right there. And he says, this is the most empowered workplace I've ever seen. I go, well, thank you, Dr. Covey. We don't use that word, but you can. And then he said, and I know how you're doing it. Well, this was great news because I really didn't know how we were doing it. And he said, well, when someone comes up to you with tell me what to do, you don't tell them what to do. You resist the urge to match them level for level. You just invite them to the next level up. You say, what do you see? Tell me about the situation. Tell me more. And then when they start telling you more, you say, well, what do you think? What should we do? If I weren't here, what would you do? What do you intend to do? Or maybe just do it. I was like, yeah, I think that's right. Sounds right. Poor Dr. Covey puts his head down. He's rubbing his temples. I say, sir, are you okay? Are you seasick? I've killed Dr. Covey. And he said, no. He looks at me and says, no, David, I'm fine. But remember, it's these 7 habits of highly effective people. So we ended up having to come up with the seventh one. And I now think this is one of the greatest leadership hacks ever, because this is the thermometer for empowerment. And you can dial the empowerment. Don't tell people to be empowered, because it's very vague, very fuzzy. They don't know what to do anyway. Just focus on the words, and you got someone that say, hey, they're coming to describing you a situation, say, that's great. Now what do you think? They don't need to move from you telling them to them telling you. That's too big of a jump. That's trying to bench press 100 pounds one day and 200 the next. Too big a jump. And I intended it was a target. That's where I tried to go. I didn't need to go any further, because a team that's trained at I intend to will move to I've done if they need to. It's a very small step. The problem is teams who are trained at I'll tell you what to do and you do it, they cannot move there. And so now I had a tool where I could layer for each person, each officer, and for this officer, they'd be like, this is what I intend to do, blah, blah, blah. Another one starting out might be, well, here's how I see the situation. We'd have conversations. I said, great, in 6 months, but you're going to be on the I intend to level. And this was the way that we did it. Don't delegate, elevate. Because delegating is like, I still decide what needs to happen, you do it. Right? It's more than that. Now they're coming to you, say, here's what I see needs to happen. I intend to take the following action. How awesome is that?